Now imagine waking up one morning, and instead of the sound of birds chirping, you hear the distant roar of a Tyrannosaurus rex. The sky above is filled with flying reptiles, and giant herbivores the size of buses are stomping through your backyard. This isn't a scene from Jurassic Park. This is what life might actually look like if humans existed during the age of the dinosaurs. Let's take a terrifying step back. Over 65 million years into the Mesozoic Era, a time divided into three periods: the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous. Dinosaurs dominated the land, while the early ancestors of mammals were small, shrew-like creatures hiding in the shadows. But what if humans, yes us, were somehow dropped into this ancient world? What would life really be like? First, let's talk about survival. We often think of humans as the top of the food chain, but in this world we're not even close. Predators like the Tyrannosaurus rex, velociraptors, and Allosaurus would see us as easy prey. Without advanced weapons or technology, we'd be nothing more than walking snacks. To survive, early humans would have to live in constant fear. We might hide in caves, build traps, or construct high tree dwellings to stay out of reach. But even that wouldn't guarantee safety. Some flying reptiles like Quetzalcoatlus had wingspans as long as a small airplane, and could snatch a human from the ground with terrifying ease. Second, imagine the challenge of hunting and gathering. Most of our early tools wouldn't stand a chance against dinosaur skin, which was thick and scaly like armor. And let's not forget, humans would now be competing with massive herbivores for plant-based food. Picture trying to pick berries while a 30-ton Apatosaurus casually tramples through your garden. Even the water sources wouldn't be safe. Rivers and lakes could be home to giant crocodile-like creatures such as Dinosaurs, which were as big as school buses and could ambush anything that moved. What about shelter and community? Building homes would be an extreme challenge. Wood would be scarce in certain areas due to dinosaurs eating or knocking over trees. Any village would need to be heavily fortified. Think more like a prehistoric fortress than a cozy tribal camp. Communities would likely be small, mobile, and secretive. Fires for warmth or cooking might attract predators, so humans would have to find ways to stay hidden. Silence would become a survival skill. Now let's talk about the environment. The Earth back then was hotter and more humid. There were no polar ice caps and sea levels were much higher. Dense jungles, active volcanoes, and unstable weather patterns dominated the land. This meant dangerous storms, sudden floods, and toxic gases from volcanic eruptions were part of daily life. And then there's the atmosphere. Oxygen levels were lower in earlier periods and higher in others, which would affect how humans breathe. We'd have to adapt, quickly, or risk suffocation. Could we ever live alongside dinosaurs peacefully? Maybe, if humans could domesticate smaller herbivores. Imagine a human tribe raising protoceratops like cattle or riding a Pachycephalosaurus like a horse. It's fun to imagine, but the truth is even the gentler dinosaurs were enormous, unpredictable, and capable of crushing a human without noticing. There's also the issue of disease. Dinosaurs likely carried ancient bacteria and viruses that humans wouldn't have any immunity to. A simple scratch could turn deadly. But let's flip the question. What if we brought our modern technology back in time? Now things get interesting. With weapons, medicine, and artificial shelters, we might stand a chance. But there's a catch. Fuel, electricity, and materials would run out fast. Once we're cut off from modern industry, even the most advanced group of humans would be forced to live primitively within weeks. And even with modern weapons, taking on a 40-foot-long Spinosaurus would still be suicidal. In conclusion, if humans had existed during the age of dinosaurs, it would have been a life of constant danger, extreme challenges, and very little hope for survival. Our species would likely never rise to dominate the planet like we have today. But then again, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe the Earth needed the extinction of the dinosaurs to give mammals, and eventually us, a chance to thrive. One thing's for sure, it's fun to imagine, but you wouldn't want to live there. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey back in time, please give this video a like, share it with your fellow time travelers, and don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating what-if stories from science and beyond. Stay curious, and stay safe, especially if you hear a roar behind you.